So when you load this page, you may see this list of errors that are displaying. Now there's two ways we can get rid of this. One is by updating the CTools module to the development release of it. If you go to this page on Drupal.org, drupal.org/node/952358, it describes the problem and also the solution, and mentions that the fix has been committed to the development release of CTools. So one option would be to switch over to using the development release. The other thing we can do is suppress error warnings. So I'm going to go back to context, and if we go to configuration, development, and logging and errors, and we scroll down, and we select none for error messages to display, and click save configuration, you'll see one last batch of errors here, but if we refresh the page, those go away, and you won't see the errors anymore. Now the problem with going this route is if there's an error that's happening that's important to know about. For example, the file system is trying to write to a folder that's not writable, and PHP is displaying errors about how it can't save the file, well, you're not going to see those anymore because you're suppressing the errors. For now, we're going to assume that any PHP errors that display this way are going to be cosmetic, and that we shouldn't really worry about them throughout the rest of this series. But if we run into a problem, we may need to backtrack and turn these errors back on to see if maybe that gives us some clue as to what's going on. Also, knowing where this error messages to display setting is can be helpful for your live site. By turning it off on your live site, you prevent your users from accidentally seeing these messages that might give them some insight into what's going on behind the scenes. Instead, what you can do is use the log in order to view these reports. You see the database log messages to keep, and we can set this to a really high amount to make sure we don't lose any important information that would help us track down problems. And you can get to these messages by going to Reports and Recent Log Messages. And you see all of our messages that we were seeing in that red box are displayed here individually, and we can click on them in order to learn a little bit more about it. Okay, so I'm going to exit out of the overlay,